Aloha, y'all. It is Tuesday, ruled by Tyr, the Mars equivalent in Nordic mythology. The 11th, 111, January 111, in Gregorian numerological sync. You might be asking yourself, why wasn't Jim live yesterday? I might not be doing these this week and next week a little. I'll see what I can do. Next few weeks, I'll be traveling. I've ripped off that black fingernail that had a blood clot or whatever underneath it. That had been under my fingernail for 3 or 4 months. I reached into my clothing basket and that fell off yesterday, so I'm kind of sensitive to playing. Even this isn't like really helping, but we'll see. And like I said, between travel, my brother just came back from Europe with his now fiance, his girlfriend for a few years, but they're engaged now, so I might be busy, but I will try to come through. It's good for me, it's good for you. So the sun is in Capricorn, the moon is in Taurus, Mercury is in Aquarius, Venus is in retrograde Capricorn, Mars is in Sagittarius, Jupiter's in Pisces, Saturn's in Aquarius, Uranus is retrograde in Taurus, Neptune's in Pisces, Pluto's in Capricorn, and the North Node is in Gemini. Let's go ahead and see what's going on. Like I said, I'll be traveling to Alabama, Fairhope, Alabama, for a few weeks on the 18th through the 31st, I believe, hanging out with my Nana. And she's not all about tarot and stuff, so I'm not sure how many decks I could take. I've got a lot of decks. What guitar I would take, that kind of thing. It might be obviously no electric. So it is what it is. We've got the Tower card. Shocker. So towers are about expectations coming out of, being shattered, worldviews being shattered. Comes right after the devil. When all the lies pile up and all the deceit piles up to a point, and then truth has to come clamoring through. It's a major arcana card. It's about rapid, unsettling changes. Uranus is about to go direct, I believe, on the 18th, possibly, if I'm not mistaken. Mercury is going retrograde on the 18th. The nodes switch from Gemini to Taurus, and south nodes from Sagittarius to Scorpio on the 18th. So we're in for a lot of change right now. Rapid, unsettling change. Surrender to the flashes of insight. Power in not knowing. Your world feels like it's falling apart. Strengthen your core beliefs. And when this happened, when my fingernail came off, I was like, can I even play music for like months? Because not only did it fall off, but it's only half fallen off. So it's like a shit show. It sucks, but it is what it is. The tower. I know that radical transformation is being required of me. The tower is visualized here as a steampunk industrial edifice. It has colonized nature and is built within a Neolithic stone circle constituted from many found here in Britain. Part ancient and mysterious, part Burning Man installation, its summit bears a transmitter beaming man's existence out into space. Very Mercury in Aquarius. It represents mankind's evolution and manifest expression, his ascent from working harmoniously with nature through engineering and all the organization of industry to the expansion, agility, and creativity of the radio telescope searching deep space, extending our vision of life beyond Earth and its limits, which I was just reading about that with Haley today. Our scientific models, our religious models might not be encapsulating all levels of life. And even it's funny, it says, oh, we're taking a radio telescope searching deep space. That's only going to pick up certain frequencies and realities. Fiery meteors are showering down, dangerously striking the tower and setting it alight, symbolizing the ultimate precarious nature of mankind. Like the dinosaurs, we too can disappear overnight. The things we've painstakingly built can be wiped out, our culture, ideas, and tangible evidence of it razed to the ground. On a personal level, the tower illustrates how our belief systems and ideas constructed over time to form a concrete identity and picture of reality can seemingly be catastrophically demolished. It's like a bad epiphany. Epiphany, period. It doesn't have to be bad, but it's like a sudden epiphany. Mount of Transfiguration. Oh my God, what the fuck's going on and stuff. The sudden force from outside or dark secret revealed and the story of who we are and where we're going come crashing down. The figures leap artfully from the tower, a surrendered quality and grace to their descent, ambiguously hinting that perhaps after all they might not die. A metaphor for our capacity to surrender to the will of nature. Moon in Taurus, it's like just surrender to nature. You'll be fine. There is great power and freedom in, quote, not knowing, in admitting the truth and in overturning the condition that covers up the I don't knows, right? So with the North Node, the last moments, Gemini, the South Node, and Sagittarius for the last few days, belief, dogma, tradition, South Node, like we're upturning that with new ideas, new perceptions, North Node and Gemini. And now we're about to ground those realities. So it's not just like, maybe governments aren't for us. It's like, clearly they're not for us. Maybe the financial system is rigged. Clearly it's rigged. Stuff like that. There is a great freedom and power in not knowing, in admitting the truth and overturning the condition that covers up the I don't knows. Without precognition, we simply cannot know what's going to happen in the future. We can only guess at one based on assumptions. We don't know that what's best for ourselves, or for anyone else for that matter, including our children. The tower signals there will be rapid, unsettling change in your life, accompanied by a sense that things are collapsing and falling apart, indeed breaking down in order for something new to happen. In the long term, the shattering of internal and external structures can be an amazing catalyst for growth and wisdom. That which isn't true is blasted away clean. Change is not disastrous and earth-shattering. Rather, it is a leap from one thing to another. All the world's a stage. You look out and see the drama unfolding and look within to see the theater of your mind. The only constant change. Ultimately, the tower, which represents the structure and potency of the ego, is made of thoughts, so it collapses, and its collapse enables us to see, and thoughts, when truly seen, are neither good nor bad. So the tower, rapid, unsettling changes, surrendering to the flashes of insight. Rapid, unsettling change, having my fingernail rip off. I was not expecting that. Power and not knowing. Your world feels like it's falling apart. Strengthen your core beliefs. With Uranus and Taurus, the moon in Taurus, we really are feeling, and Uranus is in retrograde in Taurus, we are really feeling a reestablishment of why do I believe these things? I was always told America's the land of the free, home of the brave. Is that really true? Are Western democratic ideals usurped by, multinational corporations at this point and just being held up as lobbyists in a sense? All these kind of things. Is our environment falling apart around us because we're all just sitting around putting on VR goggles and drinking Sprite or whatever? So we've got to be aware that it's coming from on high. It's ordained, you could say, even though to us it seems like catastrophic apocalypse. It's happening for a reason. Sometimes those reasons aren't even grokkable, understandable to humans, but they are happening nonetheless. Let's go ahead and get a clarification card. It's really hard with this Band-Aid to shuffle and grab things. It's not really hard, but it's clearly. It's different. So we've got the 3 of water. Let's go ahead and see what that has to tell us. With Jupiter and Neptune and Pisces, this is on that level. Integrity, earth, air, fire, water. On page 272. The 3 of water: satisfaction, pleasure, joy, hopefulness, anticipation, attachment, expectation, and disappointment, right? Because our expectations are being challenged, but that doesn't mean we can't find pleasure and joy, moon and Taurus, in the situation. We can still dream, Jupiter and Pisces, Neptune and Pisces, but it might be coming in a way that's harsher and more dramatic and deadly than we expected. Pluto, Sun, and Venus in retrograde in Capricorn. Key phrases: celebrate your victories, take satisfaction from your endeavors, look to the future with anticipation, your success will come, a rewarding outcome, an exciting future, free yourself from unrealistic expectations and allow the outcome to manifest freely. The 3 of water represents satisfaction and indicates that you have come to a time to rejoice in life and your success. She stands tall and confident, with arms raised in victorious celebration. She has invested greatly in her creative endeavors and is well satisfied with her progress and accomplishments thus far. She is positive and hopeful that her success will continue, so she turns to greet the future with anticipation and excitement. This card is a positive affirmation and symbolizes the joyous potential for a rewarding outcome. It also signifies the importance of taking time to appreciate, celebrate, and enjoy yourself along the way. I'm going to play a song which is actually it's not totally apocalyptic, but it's paradigm shifting and then celebratory also. Look back and be proud of what you have accomplished. Do a little victory dance before turning once more to the future with a heart full of hope and a smile upon your lips. It is important to allow yourself these moments of joy and celebration and to remember them, right? So though the world might feel like it's falling apart, there's still reason to celebrate. It's a celebration, bitches, right? So it's yes, governments, media, science itself, perspectives, religion, culture, all these things are shifting dramatically. What it means to be human is changing. We've been told for a few hundred years, especially probably since after World War II, what it looks like to be an industrialized democratic nation, and the West has tried to adopt that motif. And I'm not even saying that's bad, but there's Freemasonic values being pushed into that. America is a Freemasonic experiment. I could go on and on, but the point is, shifts are happening, and that doesn't mean lose hope or lose spirit, but it does mean hold on to your butts, as they say in Jurassic Park, because here it comes. It's been happening for a few years, as we all noticed. And now it's just a matter of, deciding what your vibratory level and preferences are, essentially. And then hope, moving towards those things in hope and power. Capricorn sun. It's like, I can do this. So we've got 72, and that was on, the last thing I read was 272, the page 272. This is number 72, spiritual commitment. And it takes a real spiritual commitment, usually things that make us feel good and hopeful, to hold on in spite of the, wheels falling off. We still want to be in the race, even if our car is breaking down, right? So we're committed as spiritual beings to this plane. Don't just pull the trigger and say, fuck it, because that's not being spiritually committed. On page 111, all these things. Today is 111. This is on page 111, 72, page 272. Vega, spiritual commitment, future timeline. In modern times, we only make a spiritual commitment when we are in pain. We usually only turn to hope, 3 of water, spirit, God, Jupiter and Pisces, all this stuff. When shit's hitting the fan, when it's really disastrous and we're afraid and we're in pain. When the pain goes away, we become busy with the distractions of life and no longer remember our commitment. That is the shadow of Moon and Taurus, where it's just like, as long as I feel good and I'm satiated and I'm eating pizza and having fun or whatever, I don't care. North Node and Gemini, this is also shadow. It's like sometimes things, Capricorn sun, you got to move beyond pleasure, even though pleasure is not a bad thing. The Vegans never lost their spiritual commitment and wove them into their everyday lives in so many enriching ways. Moon and Taurus, Venus in retrograde in Capricorn, weaving practical things into your daily life, not just like being like, spun out on 10 hits of acid and just saying, I am an alien or whatever. This card asks you to look honestly at your spiritual commitments. How can you strengthen them no matter whether you are feeling pain or joy, shock and horror, or elation and pleasure? No matter what the condition, are you spiritually committed? How can you strengthen them no matter whether you're feeling pain or joy? Go deep within and find the longing to be one with the universe. Very Jupiter and Pisces. Namaste, I'm one with all. Remember that longing and your commitment can begin there. The text for this card acknowledges the immense self-discipline of the Vegan mystics of the ancient times. Through their dedication and spiritual practices, they gave many gifts to their descendants, including mystical schools of earth. This card points to the truth that spiritual evolution cannot take place without a commitment. Very Moon in Taurus. It's like commit, like stay steady to it, embody it. This may be a commitment to a specific practice such as yoga or meditation, or it may even mean a commitment to becoming the clearest and most balanced human being you can become and taking the actions needed to do so. If this card came up in your reading, take a look at the surrounding cards in your life circumstances for more clues. Most likely this card is reminding you to stay focused and committed on your spiritual path, even when it is not convenient or enjoyable to do so. Even when shit's hitting the fan, stay positive. Don't worry, be happy. This too shall pass. I know that's easier said than done. I freak out readily, always. Those are times when the growth is most pronounced. Sometimes people don't know what kind of practice to commit to. Know that the type of practice is less important than simply making a commitment, as long as the practice isn't a comfortable distraction instead of an authentic path that leads you to see yourself clearly. Right? Moon and Taurus shadow is like, I just want to do what feels good. I'm going to suck my thumb because I've just done this out of habit for psychological pacification. It's called a pacifier, right? When you, like, babies have a binky or whatever. I called it a binky, or my family did. Anyway, so taking this time to connect with your inner self through whatever practice suits you is one of the most important gifts you can give yourself and the planet. So, in spite of tumultuous seas, land ho exists. Like, we're still sailing towards islands of discovery, but we have to be committed. You can't just jump off the boat when the waves get big, right? That's not how it works. So let's go ahead and get an animal oracle card. I'm really hoping I got a pick out so I can use the pick for playing, but I'm like, I'll try to finger pick. It's not even that it hurts. It's just I don't want to snag it and rip it off the half that's still healthy or whatever. We got intuition, the cat, right? So not, just because you see destruction and change and revolution and all that stuff doesn't mean there's not things to look forward to. Stay committed and use your what? Intuition. So this is number 37 in the Divine Animal Oracle deck. 37, intuition. Use and develop your intuition. Your gut feeling is correct. You are not your mind, right? Something with Mercury, the shadow of Mercury in Aquarius, and with North Node in Gemini and Saturn in Aquarius is like, oh, I've got to figure this out. I've got to think about this. And it's like, at some point, a spiritual commitment is beyond the mind. Your mind is going to disintegrate one day. You can have mental breakdowns. but that doesn't mean that your spirit is lost, right? So stay committed, even if the conditions are like swamping your boat or whatever. You are not your mind. Develop your magical skills further. Jupiter and Pisces, develop your magic. Big time. You got luck to do so. Introduce more play into your life, North Node and Gemini. The Egyptian goddess, this is the mythos. The Egyptian goddess Bast is the embodiment of cat energy, a very ancient deity. She was originally a lion goddess, somewhat like Sekhmet, but her leonine nature diminished in favor of the cat energy. A very ancient goddess, Bast is, in a sense, it's like Godzilla turned into Yoshi. You know, it's like, oh my God, this Sekhmet is this crazy violent thing. And it's like, but we have kitty cats that love and purr on us now. Godzilla to Yoshi. Bast is the minutiae of Sekhmet. A very ancient goddess, Bast is featured in the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Statues of Bast usually depict either a woman with a cat's head or a regal, beautifully formed cat with royal symbology and sometimes a lion mask signifying a hidden, fierce nature. Bast offered protection to her worshippers in everyday life rather than in battle, as this was Sekhmet's role. Godzilla's role was more violent. Yoshi's role was more chill. And she was the goddess who helped bring messages and guidance through intuition. She also demonstrated a loving, playful energy. The historian Herodotus traveled to Egypt in the 5th century BC and told of his experiences at the festival of Bast at the riverside town of Bubastis. He spoke of people traveling down the river by small boat and playing and jesting with people on the shore as they passed. North Node and Gemini. Once they reach the temple, quote, they make a festival with great sacrifices, and more wine is drunk at this feast than in the whole year. Sounds like a lot of fun. Moon in Taurus. Indulgent sensually for emotional satisfaction. In ancient Egypt, domestic cats were very much a part of the city and family life. In a time when plague and disease could not easily be halted and could spread easily, the services of a feline hunter were appreciated. Cats became symbols of protection and royalty and were even mummified as companions and protectors of the dead in the afterlife. In Norse mythology, cats famously pulled the goddess Freya's chariot, surely an activity not for beginners. Capricorn, it's like a high achievement. Capricorn Sun. Cats have always been associated with the witchcraft of many traditions, especially in Europe. It was said that a black cat could give you bad or good luck, North Node and Gemini, either or, luck depending upon the culture you're in, and that cats are able to see spirits and travel between the worlds of the dead and the living at will, Neptune and Jupiter and Pisces. Very magical, mystical shit. It is this association that made cats a target for burning and killing in the Middle Ages and encouraged the plague that was spread by the flea carriers. The magic. Cat magic can be used in a variety of ways, including to increase happiness, curiosity, a sense of play, and lightness, and somewhat paradoxically, when we may be wanting to connect with someone who has passed. Cats are considered guides to the underworld and can help with mediumship. If you have a cat yourself, it is said that you have the blessing of any goddess who loves cats, and so this can only enhance your life. The status is of least concern. Obviously, there's just shit ton of cats every which way. Let's go ahead and get an art oracle card. What wants to pop? Who wants to talk? We've got Marcel Duchamp. This is some Uranus and Taurus tower card art stuff. Dadaism, which we'll talk about, is absurd kind of art, and that really radically transformed what was acceptable in culture. It was like Stravinsky's Rite of Spring kind of thing. If you've heard the rumors about that. People rioting and such because the music was so alien to them. But Marcel Duchamp, he's from France. He died in 1968. The granddaddy of Dada, and that's very Capricorn, the granddaddy, and precursor to pop, Marcel Duchamp wrote the fuzzy blueprint for conceptual art and gifted art history the ready-made, very Mercury in Aquarius, Saturn in Aquarius. A mass-produced object elevated to art status by the baptizing artist. So something that's normal that we transform through the intuition, our spiritual commitment, and transform, probably radically, the perspective of others to bring joy. Art, yay, huzzah. An example is his famous fountain, nay, a common urinal. Wordplay and irony were God to Duchamp, North Node and Gemini, Mercury in Aquarius, who caused consternation early in his career with Nude Descending a Staircase No. 2, a mechanical painting of the eponymous action with a nary a nude bit distinguishable. So it's like porno this way, and everyone's like, oh, let's check it out. And there's like, I just see not that. So, fuck with people's expectations. Tower card. Duchamp, recognition only found Duchamp in his twilight years, but his posthumous legacy is having a heyday. And he's popular now after his death, but he was kind of like an outsider, very Mercury in Aquarius, Saturn in Aquarius at the time. Making it look easy is hard, right? So this is not to say when the waves come that you got to learn how to surf, right? But to surf big waves that like could be tsunamis in most people's minds, if you've ever seen Maui big wave surfing or Portuguese big wave surfing, that to make that look easy is hard. We have to play, we have to hope and enjoy the process, however devastating and crazy it is. We have to use our intuition to know what's right for us personally. Like some people are designed to tackle, 100-foot waves on the surfboard, and some people are not even meant to be in the water; they'll drown, kind of thing. We have to use our intuition, know what's best for us. Always being committed to our highest spiritual plane, knowing that those planes burst. There's evolution, punctuatory evolution every now and then. So making it look easy is hard. When the walls come tumbling down, are you keeping your cool? You got to find the things that bring you joy and peace and intuit what those things are, because that is the level that maintains your momentum in a spiritual commitment. Sometimes you're, 2 steps forward, 5 steps forward, 1 step back, 10 steps back, sometimes 40 steps back. Sometimes there's a global reset. This is an apocalypse, right? So making it look easy is hard. I think what Marcel is telling us is like, we've got to be graceful even during the circumstances that are so difficult. So the stone we're getting is copper. It's not a stone, but whatevs. Whoops, dropped it. Mercury's about to go in retrograde when this double Gemini is dropping everything, stuttering over my words, ripping off fingernails. Copper, what it is. If you're thinking, but copper isn't a crystal, indeed, you are a genius. How snarky, North Node and Gemini. Copper is a metal, but it's such a powerful energy conductor and component of many of your favorite stones, chrysocolla, malachite, and turquoise, for example. It has to make the cut. Who needs it? Anyone who needs the proverbial defibrillator pads, right? The universe is giving us a defibrillation. This is like a dead body, and this is like, the doctor being like, it's like, that is a shocking situation, and your psyche can sit there and be like, I'm being electrocuted and fried, oh my God. But your body needs to be restarted electrically like that. So this is for anybody who needs a recharge. Where to put it with your epic crystal collection, as copper intensifies the potency of most stones, clearing the channels of communication between you and your mineral friends. So it's a kind of tech, Mercury and Aquarius, Saturn and Aquarius. When to use it? When it's time to pack up an old idea of who you are and ship it out for good. Move on, renewed with copper, right? Move on from your perspectives that are being shattered, confident, 3 of water, in your new direction, and use your intuition as a spiritual commitment. This says, energize your whole world. Guys, can you say it any louder? Moon and Taurus, Uranus and Taurus retrograde. It is fucking, like, our world is being energized right now. In a sense, the galaxy is heating up, and when you heat up a pot of water, it goes from chill to tumultuous pretty quick, right? So that's the energy we're feeling right now. But that doesn't mean that it's all bad. I guess I don't have to, I'm used to trying to hide my black fingernail. I guess I could just do this, because it's gross to me, so I don't want to show y'all. Yeah, we can keep our joy, we can keep our playfulness, we can keep our celebration of it all, using our intuition to know what's our path. Not every path is for everybody. Like Trinity didn't jump from the helicopter to go save Morpheus. That wasn't her path. Neo had a different path. Morpheus has a different path. You see what I mean? So making it look easy is hard, keeping your chill and holding your joy in spite of an apocalypse and conditions that are very counterintuitive, right? It's part of our spiritual commitment to be here at this time, so don't think you're being overloaded. We need to energize our world with grace, basically. Make it look easy if you can. It is hard. It's not easy always, but that's kind of what the message is. Let's go ahead and play a song. Like I said, I picked a song. I actually saw this live in 2000 on Earth Day. I saw Ben Folds in, I think it was Browns Island in Richmond, Virginia, at a festival, and the band, the percussionist for this band looks exactly like Ben Stiller. They're named Guster. I never really liked any of their other stuff particularly, but this song has always stood out to me, so I'm going to play it. And I hope it's in my range. And I'm going to try to play with a wounded hand, so here we go. He said to only look up. He said to never look down. Down is where he came from. He said to hope for the best, 3 of water, and take a load off my chest. Soon I could be happy and go all the way up to heaven, all the way He thought I might need his help. Tower card. No one gets high on themselves. I just seem so lonely. He's trying to be nice and spread around his advice. I could be that happy and go all the way up to heaven, and go all the way back home. Stay the way I am today is a certain mint disaster. Tower card. He can tell a fairy tale, it's happy ever after. 3 of water. Just relax, greener grass will grow here for a change, and maybe then will last 1,000,000 years or more, and go all the way up to heaven, all the way back home. Yes, I do believe what he says. I want to be happy. I could sure use his help. No one gets by on themselves. He can make me happy, and I will love him. It's a long silent peace, and I will never look down. It's a weakness in your knees. Down is where he came from. It's a perfect place to go for everlasting love. Very 3 of Cups. I'm trying to do call and response. I should probably not be doing that, because it's all in the past. Nothing to fear, nothing to hide. He took load off my chest. You just say what's on your mind. Oh, 'cause it's not happy, 'cause I needed his help. No matter how by myself, I am going nowhere, and now I'm changing my plans. Tower card. Because we only live once. Ooh, could this be happy? Once I could live by his side. Or something. So, I was interrupting myself and not knowing part of that song. C'est la vie. But guys, we have a choice, and the choice during really difficult times is to find the peace, find the silver linings, find the joy, find the purpose that will come to you through your intuition if you keep yourself open on your spiritual commitment. Don't just be like, oh my God. There's times when you could throw in the towel, but like ultimately throwing in the towel, not a good look, right? And going through life during hard times with grace is making the difficult look easy, right? But we could do that by energizing our whole with copper. So I think during these very crazy times, right? And they're only going to get crazier for a little while, I promise you. Whether it's Project Bluebeam or mass microchipping or whatever is coming, AI, all this kind of stuff. Changes, changes. I should have probably saying that, but changes are happening, and we got to keep our cool. We got to keep our joy. We've got to tap into our intuition. Remember, it's our spiritual commitment. We're here for a reason. We didn't just ask to be here. We're not just chaotic, random happenstance, though it can feel like that at levels. It's not the full, complete truth. Making it look easy is hard, so ride that wave well. You might fall a few times. Get back up. Energize your whole, ultimately, because your center, your core, is what stays during these tower moments. Everything else is getting shattered and thrown aside, and you too can go from a dead body to a Frankenstein alive. Oh, it's alive, but the core of what you are won't change at some level. So hopefully that makes sense. Check out the Team Rabbit Hole podcast. We have a bunch this week. We've double scheduled. We used to do that. We used to do a lot more. Now we just do twice a week. We've got 4 this week, Wednesdays and Thursdays, with a whole bunch of people. I can't remember off the top of my head. So check out the Team Rabbit Hole podcast. We're at 260 plus episodes. Holler for readings. I love giving them. People love getting them. $33 for cards for an hour. $88 for astrology for 3 hours, and then $111 for, and it is the 111th day of 111 today, for both. So I hope you enjoy that, and it makes sense, and I'll be popping in and out as I can. Stay strong. Wish me luck with my finger, and travels and such, and I will catch y'all on the flip side. Adios.